Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Real Black Talk segment. Tonight's topic is going to be on if a man cheats, is it the other woman's fault? So, there was a post on Facebook that we saw, and this post says if your man cheated, it's definitely the other woman's fault. And so, my first question would ask is why do people think cheating is logical? Like, Carlos, what would you think would be a logical reason for someone to cheat on their partner?
Various reasons. People step out. Could be, lack of happiness at home, lack of compatibility. Um, Sometimes the the part of just not wanting to be there anymore. It's different factors that factor into that.
Yeah, some would say there's they have grown apart from each other. Um, they have nothing to talk about, lack of intimacy, things of that nature. I think that people would use as their reason to go on and cheat. But is that logical and is it reasonable enough to do so?
Um, I mean, for cheating, of course, I don't. I'm not saying that any of it is logically for doing so, because the person should always know, um, you know, be able to discuss with their partner any issues that they have to resolve those issues. And in those times, certain things take place where they can't. The lack of communication may cause that individual to possibly be alone or not be able to explain or to that person that the way they feel, because it turns into an argument or it turns into some type of feud, of course. So it just it varies whatever the situation or circumstances is, and like I said, um, it just depends on whatever the circumstances is, even though some people do it just to do it, but in most cases it varies whatever the circumstances or whatever the situation may be for that person to make that decision to consider it logic for doing it.
So you're saying based on certain factors in the relationship is why someone would deem that to be reasonable. Like that's the
Well,
because of what they're dealing with. Like, is that what you're saying? Is what I'm trying to understand.
yeah, I mean, it just depends, because if that person don't feel that individual is into them or whatnot, or they may just feel like there's not a connection between them and their partner. But as well, I feel like that's not logic, not telling that person or notifying that individual that you're feeling this situation this way towards them. So before it becomes that that wouldn't be logic to do it based on those circumstances without discussing with that individual your issues. But certain cases, certain reasons bring forth these that make certain things logical. But my advice would be, any person should just um, notify that person whatever they're feeling on the inside or whatnot, what they feel there's lack thereof, before they make that decision.
I don't know. I well, first and foremost, I disagree with the entire post that was posted that says that because I would want to ask that person or anyone who agreed with that is where do you get that from to say that it's the other woman's fault? Because one, the other woman is not in your relationship. That's the first thing. She wasn't there to start with, anyways. So if you were already in a committed relationship or whatever the case that might have been, where do you get off blaming the other woman? There's only one thing that I would say um, that you would be able to deem that it's her fault. But even though it wouldn't be, because again, you do not blame the other woman, the other man. You got to put the blame and the responsibility on the person who's in the relationship with you. So whether it's the man that cheats or the woman that cheats, if they're in a committed relationship together and they're deeming themselves as we are a couple, and they're looking at it as I'm for you, you're for me, then how do you get off on blaming the other person? No other person makes you cheat, right? No one makes you do
Right.
that. That's a choice. And so you're always left with two choices. And I know sometimes people seem to think that, how is that possible? Well, here's the thing, between right and wrong, right? Those are two choices. You can choose right, you can choose wrong, but you have to make a decision on which one you're going to choose. And so if that person, man or female, that is in the relationship, if they go into finding themselves like, okay, well, I'm not happy at home, or this is going on, or they don't do this, or they don't do that, and you decide, okay, well, I'm going to go and step off the porch and go find somebody else, is that, I mean, how do you blame that? I just don't understand. And it was a woman that made that post, by the way.
I mean,
And
absolutely. Women are always going to blame the other woman because they feel like you knew that he was taken or whatever. So another woman,
not all the time, though, because
yeah.
if you go out into the world and you say you're not, or even if you do, the
Well, it ain't
outsider
no such thing as
doesn't.
taken. What I meant, I mean to say
Well,
taken. I'm sorry.
what I mean is, what I'm saying,
Involved more so.
right? The other person, man or female, that is not in the relationship, right? They are not to blame for your choice, because you could have said, no, I'm not going to do that, at
Right.
least not this way. So even if,
Right.
even the women, because I've seen it where women will blame the other woman, but they totally forgive the man, they overlook his wrongdoing. It's like, oh, it was her fault. It's only in a sense, not, you still don't even consider it her fault, but if she knew you, like knew both of you, like you knew her, she knew you, she knew who your significant other was, and vice versa, he knew that guy knew him and his woman in particularly, right? So
Right.
that right there, I can understand the anger, but to blatantly say that if the man cheats, it is the other woman's fault, that is misplaced anger. In my opinion, it really is, because you're placing all the blame on an outsider that's outside the lines of your relationship, and
Yeah. The
you're,
blame should
huh?
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It should strictly be to the person that's in the relationship that done the cheating.
The blame should never just be on that one individual. I mean, because we're dealing with grown ups, and when people make a decision,
Who does the, if the person that does it,
right,
now both of them are cheating, they're both wrong. But if it's one
right.
that's cheating, yeah, you, how am I, if
So what
I'm
you so
the
what you saying the
bystander,
person that so what you saying the person that just there that's committing the act with the so-called person that's stepping that's in some type of infidelity or whatever. It ain't the person that the outside, it's the person's fault that's the infidel actually. Is that what you're saying?
yes, the person that is in the relationship that steps outside the relationship to do the cheating, the blame is not on the person you go find outside, down the block, wherever. They don't have no responsibility to your relationship. That's what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree for as that because again, like I said, we all are adults. So I mean, just like a woman can't force a man, or whatnot, is vice versa. Um, I mean, everybody make the decision to do whatever they choose to do. However, in certain circumstances, why women always go for the woman is basically natural. This is something that has been going on for so many decades, so many years, so many decades, so many centuries. It's just a normal, natural thing. It's like I would rather fight the rival than fight the actual one who's actually doing the particular deed. And no, I wouldn't dare look at it as the one because it feel like you taking something from them. And a lot of times it's like you have toys. I mean, you have things. Somebody takes something from you that you feel like that is yours. You're gonna want to fight the person that took it, not the toy. So it's kind of like it makes the man looks. It kind of slices him out of cut him out of the accusation picture or the woman. And because it's like that with men. When a man catch another man with his woman, with his wife. he want to kill the man. I mean, that's where the rage come right there. So, we always want to target the outsider because it's like they taking something from you, and nobody likes something taken from them. In those terms, when a woman, that's what she feel like. Oh, you're taking that, so that's why she feel like she must fight for what she feels is hers. Is it
Yeah,
right? No. Is it right? No. I mean,
no,
but
it's right.
that's what actually takes place.
It's the
I mean, that's what actually takes place.
responsibility. It's the responsibility of the two people in the relationship to know right and wrong with each other, right? It's not like this is
Right.
cheating is not a foreign language, especially not in the 21st century. It's just not. We're
Right.
dealing in times where some people look at it as it's not a big deal, or well, because we had lack of communication. So I went to the bar and started drinking, and I was able to talk to the girl sitting at the bar. And then we decided we wanted to take it to the next level and go get a room, blah, 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 whatever they did. Again, do you blame the woman drunk at the bar? Or do you blame the man drunk at the bar that's in the relationship?
I
I
mean, I
mean,
don't think the blame. I don't think the blame is here on the table because do the woman know? That's the first question. If she don't know,
rather
then
they
she
know
don't
they
know.
don't does not right the wrong. That's the
I
first.
mean, but the thing is, what I'm saying, if you know, if a person tells this person I'm involved, and you decided, and really, I roughly speaks on when it comes to that part of infidelity. I look at it from a marriage standpoint because to me that's more validated as what would it be, but for as you know wrongdoing, if it's not done properly or whatever. So when a person don't notify you that they're involved with an individual and you go and do that, so who, like, she don't know, the woman, the woman that's with that guy, she don't know that the other woman don't know, so she's only reacting off her first impulse of what she feel is being done to her, which the fact of not knowing that this woman didn't know. A lot of circumstances, women didn't know that she knew, or that of that situation. She didn't know that he was involved, or she didn't know this the whole situation. But in some terms, women did know, and I think that if they're blamed for it, um, it's a justifiable cause in a sense because you still had a choice to not go that route, if in that situation.
Hold
But
on.
do you blame the outside person? No.
What is justifiable?
By the other woman being upset with that woman
Her being
in
upset
some
at the
case.
other woman? No, it's not
With
justified.
her with her
That's
what I'm saying
misplaced
is her being
anger or
upset.
misplaced
Well,
emotion.
what I'm saying, if the woman knew, like, some, it depends, but it's very slim chances of that, but
Slim chances of
still,
what? The woman
if
blaming
she
the other
knows
woman and not her
what a
boyfriend or
woman
her
knowing,
husband?
what a woman really actually knowing, but and that woman knows that woman knows. Chances are they don't know each other, and they don't know the what is really the truth. Like, in this situation, um, you know. But I'm just basing up on just things that I've seen, certain different situations like this. I've seen it happen, and the woman didn't know. And so she attacked the other woman because she felt, again, that something is being taken from her.
I'm still
That's how
like,
women are. That's women nature. They
I
don't they
mean,
don't like
it's
to.
territory on both because honestly, I think men are more
Yeah, but we're talking about the women
men.
right now.
But
So we gotta,
I mean, I'm
it's
saying,
definitely
oh,
territorial.
I get that it was the woman, making the post, but I mean, looking at it from even a male and female perspective of, is there really logical reason for cheating, correct? So if we're looking at that, that's still, if you're going after the other person, even the man going after the other man, that is not, there's nothing that justifies them doing that unless they were someone who were close friend or cousin, whatever, because they try this shit too.
No, I'm
But
not. I'm not saying that it's justifiable at all to cheat. Okay, to not tell that person that you're involved. By no way I'm saying that. But what I am saying is that what justifies that woman that goes at that woman that knew that she was, currently involved with that person and not being, told to her, shared with her, and she just all of a sudden come to this scene because you talking about two people in a bar. I mean, they're in a bar. What other person gonna come from to find out? Unless somebody was called, unless somebody was, like, come on. Unless she was following him or something. I get it. They can, do a lot of things technology wise, but like chances that they got somebody to follow them. Like you got the cheaters van that drives around to catch people in these circumstances, different circumstances. That's how they found out. 9 times this, somebody, they had them followed, or somebody called and told them, you know what I'm saying? Or they found their location, whatever the case. And that plays a role in insecurity, and a lot of different things, But that's another topic. But other than that, what I'm saying is that no, I'm not justifying that it is to do the cheating part, to be unfaithful. What I would say, because I have a different logic about cheating, that word, but to be unfaithful to an individual, that you could just merely be honest with about it, if if that's your choice, instead of give them that, at least that choice, to know, let them know what's going on. And a lot of times people, they bypass a lot of red flags, because they're being overlooked. Certain circumstances make it hard for a person to say something, or a person don't pay attention enough. Then all of a sudden, when that situation take place, now everybody's upset. I want to fight for it now.
Don't pay attention to what exactly?
Two, if that companion come to that person and say, hey, I'm feeling this way about you. I don't feel like our relationship's on the rocks. So I feel like we're not being compatible. I feel like we're not, different issues. And that other companion, don't react or respond. It's different things that happen that goes into that. It's just people say, hey, I'm wake up, I'm gonna cheat today. I literally just want to cheat. That don't happen that way. It's not that simple. It starts with a thought. It starts with things that happen that provokes that thought.
And that's what I
Right.
was
So something provokes that thought to happen. There's a reason for everything. I'm not saying that it's logic, but there's a reason for everything.
And just like there's a reason to leave, which brings me to
everybody don't want to leave. Some people just get caught in the moment.
That's
some people, like when you brought up, that's just like alcohol. Like what if you brought up alcohol? Some people, that person is under influence. Okay. Does that mean that they had a choice? Of course. But sometimes people do things at the moment.
And
what
so
if they're not? What if it's not happening? What if these things are not happening at home, and that person just so happen to meet someone, then bam, and you ain't begin to pay attention. And it does happen to me. Like you ain't getting that attention, you ain't getting that interest.
That makes it an excuse, though. That does not make it the logical reason.
Well, I'm just saying it ain't making a logic reason, but it happens. It is a reason.
You using alcohol as a factor, right?
No, you use alcohol. Like I didn't say.
No, I'm not saying me. I'm saying in general, right?
You just said at a bar. You at a bar.
No, there's 100 scenarios. You can freaking meet someone at church, right? You can meet someone at church. Y'all, the church house.
Surely they got to be doing it at church.
Let's keep it real. The way they be dressing at church now, they going to the club. So yeah, the church.
Well, I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know. But I know, back in the day.
I'm saying it could be any scenario. I just threw the bar out there, but I wasn't using that as like the lead of all cheating that goes on, because again, it can happen in the workplace. It can happen over at a friend's house, whatever. Like what I'm saying is it's a choice. And so regardless of what your significant other is or is not doing, right? If it has got to the point that you cannot deal with it and they're ignoring how you feel, which leads me to my next thing. Why not just leave if you're unhappy? To make it easier for not just yourself, right? Because just thinking of yourself, all the time is a selfish thing to do. You have to be considerate of the other person. Whether you're getting along or you're not, it's just a rightful thing to do, right? I know sometimes people don't think
Because
that
some
way, but what I'm saying is if you say it's lack of communication, it's lack of intimacy. We don't get along. We don't do anything together. There's no companionship or any of that. Does that sound like a relationship or a marriage that you want to stay in? Or does that sound like, listen, we tried, it didn't work. Let's make it easier on each other. I don't want to hurt you. I'm sure you don't want to hurt me, but I'm thinking that I want to go and find the things that I am lacking. So the best thing for me to do is leave the relationship rather than sit up, go out there, do something against you, unbeknownst to you or known to you or not. It still doesn't make it right. So why not be an adult and say, listen, you're not adding to my happiness anymore. And I don't feel that I'm adding to yours, because there's no way that one could feel one way and the other feels a complete opposite. You can't sit up and say you're happy and that person is so far unhappy with each other. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
I
One is
mean, yeah,
delusional and the other one is just, they're telling you what it is. I'm happy, I'm unhappy, like literally. But I think what it is with a lot of people is, instead of literally just sitting down and talk, that's a hard conversation to have, to tell someone that, listen, we've been together for X amount of time, but unfortunately, I think we've reached the end of this because we are not pulling ourselves out of the hole. We're going further into the hole and we're becoming miserable. So instead of us doing that, again, that falls into, it's not adding to your happiness, it's causing you to be unhappy or miserable. Why not leave? Why stay and cheat and keep going back to that person that you claim to love? That doesn't make sense. That
I
sounds
mean,
selfish as hell.
well, I mean, I get it. I mean, yeah, in a case, yeah, okay. In a perfect world, yeah, but
No, it ain't got
in
nothing to do with
equivalent, no, I'm
perfect,
just, I'm
because
just
that's
telling
not
you.
a perfect decision. Again, I
Well,
said
well,
that's a
well,
hard.
well. Everybody make bad, wrong, or right choices every day.
Yes, they do.
Period.
But again, you still are
Period.
always
And
going
and
to
and
be
here
people.
it is, and it ain't just cheating. But here's the thing. This is what I'm telling you. It's easier said than done.
That might
I
be the
mean,
case. I'm
I
not
get, I
saying
get,
I
I
just
get, I
said
get the,
that.
I get the
Literally,
perfect, I get the
I just
perfect.
said that to
Oh,
you.
why not make a bad choice? Why not? Why just choose the bad choice? I mean, come on. We live in a world in this realm which is ruled by the wicked, of course. It's fun to do bad, right? It's fun to do the wrong choices. It's what people do. I
Okay.
mean, people choose. It's more fun than doing that. So that's why people do it. You know what I'm saying? But is it right? No.
So
But
if
who's to
you're
say?
if
Who's to say that? Who's to say? Who's to actually say what is a right or wrong choice? Because if it feels good to them and it makes them happy, was it really wrong?
Okay, so hold that thought. You just said if it makes them feel good or if it makes them feel happy, because I think the happy part would be better than just the feel good part, because
Well, I'm
feelings
just
are
saying, what
temporary,
makes
right?
you
And
feel
first,
good makes you happy.
right. So if you're using that logic, right? If that made you feel happy, it made you feel good. Why return back home to where you're feeling miserable? Does
I
that make
mean, that's
a
easy because some people don't make up their mind right then. Some people don't.
What do
Some
you
people.
mean? They
Some
just
people don't make
said
up
it.
their
You
mind right
just,
then. Some people
Carlos,
don't
listen
don't
to what you
take
just said.
everything. No, no, no. Let me finish. Some people don't make up their mind right then. Some people don't make that decision all at once at that one time. I
But
mean, if that's the
why?
case, then that's the case. I can't give you an answer for that. Everybody have their own reasons.
It
Everybody
was
have their own
the
purposes.
question
Some
that I
people
was
want to hold
saying.
on to what they got. Wait a minute. Some people want to hold on to what they have. Some people got too much to lose. Some people have children. Some people, it's different. It's
They
different
always do.
things
But
on the
again, if
different
you don't want to
spectrums.
lose it, why
And
risk
some
it?
situations have caught some people off guard, and they don't know how to respond. There's not a manual on this. But the
There's
key
still,
is this
but
right
there's
here
still a
is
choice.
for people to understand. If it was just that simple, then we'll be living in a perfect world, and it's not
I
that
mean,
simple.
no, you're
We have
confusing
to live. We have
perfect
to live. We have to
fantasy
live in a.
land with
We have to
reality.
live in a reality-based
And a
life.
reality-based life still
This is
gives you
not reality.
choices. What are you
This is not
talking
reality.
about?
Everybody's different. Everybody is
What
different.
I'm saying is this. So you're basically
Everybody is
saying
not
it
going to
is
be honest
okay.
about what they're doing. Everybody's not going to be honest. Everybody's not going to be happy and be honest. Everybody's not going to be unhappy and be honest.
And that's why you have to just
I mean,
hardship sometimes and just talk about it. There's no right or wrong answers, and if you're not,
I agree. If taking a proper
your
step,
feelings should be invalidated. I mean, they
I
should
agree.
be validated, not invalidated. So rather that person likes that's what you said. If I'm telling you, hey, I'm unhappy, and you don't like what I said, doesn't give you the right to invalidate me, right?
But what? Okay, so okay.
What I'm saying is this: even if, okay, because the thing is, the problem with people is they love to cut corners and they're looking for the easy way, like, right? It's the same way with a lie. A lie is more easy to believe and go for because it's comfortable. We have to get out of this thing where, well, it's uncomfortable to be honest to a person that I claim to love or that I'm not in love with anymore, right? Because if you're not in love with them anymore, it should be fucking easy to say, look, I ain't in love with you no more. And I know it may hurt.
If you're not in love, doesn't mean. I mean, if you're not in love, it means who's to say you really was in love with that person?
Whatever you're lacking is what I'm saying.
How do you fall out of love with someone?
At the end of the day, you're still left with a choice. So yes, we can say you may not know. So if you don't know,
reasons for choices.
If you right, but there still come with consequences, and consequences
come every way.
Exactly. So and that's the part. Excusing the wrongdoing instead of saying, just say you're selfish.
Well, that's the part. That's the part. If a person choose and they willing to suffer the consequences, some people are willing to suffer the consequences just to be happy. Like we cannot put stipulations on what's wrong, what's right, unless you're going to go the right. What I'm saying is that what we consider
when it's not.
What I'm saying, what we consider wrong or right, people leave people every day. Is that right? Okay, that person been treating them nice. They ain't cheat on them. They just walk away from them. Why? Because I'm not happy.
Cheating
is that right? Hurting that person? Wait a minute. That person is hurt. You hurt him or hurt her. Is it right in the eyes of the people that love that person? No. But it was from what you say, it's the right choice, right? Because you don't want to be there. Just leave, walk away. It's not that easy.
So if they're not, why not? It literally says, why not just leave if you're unhappy then?
I understand that part.
Because if you think you're not creating turmoil in your relationship by doing that just because it's unbeknownst to them, you're crazy. You are. And again,
that's your opinion.
What you put out.
That's your opinion.
What you put out, you get back, right?
I mean, I get it. But you got to turn that, you got to look at it from this point. And you just can't. That's why I say you're not looking at it from the spectrum of a broader spectrum. You have to look at it from a broader spectrum because you just said if you do wrong to a person, like literally wrong, like you intentionally sell out to break this person's heart. Just because people are cheating doesn't mean they intentionally sought out to hurt their partner.
Because that sounds like put it all on the woman to make the man happy.
No. Because women don't want to be held accountable. All women, not all women. Some women don't want to be held accountable for the lack thereof. For the lack thereof. Because they're not doing their part. Just like in a relationship, when it comes to a male with a female, same thing. I'm not just coming on the women. You have men. Why she constantly want to be in this man's face, that man's face? That's the problem. That's the issue. You know? And the question never comes out, why? What is making this person feel like they have to seek out outside of their relationship? You know what I'm saying? There's reason for everything. And that's why I say, like, we don't know every detailed reason, but because what we feel is wrong and right, everybody has a different version of wrong and right. Like if you're going to base it on something, you already know what that book come from. Based on that, that's where I would base my wrong and right. But where are you getting the wrong and right? Because are they going to go to jail? People go to jail for doing wrong, right? But are you going to go to jail for cheating on your...
No, you don't go to jail for that, but it doesn't exempt you.
I'm just saying, everybody have their own definition of what is wrong or right. So you just can't say wrong or right is just this. because that may not be wrong or right to the next individual.
Sorry, but if I just
I mean, we live in a world
some
like that.
some
It's a lot
some
of things that we deemed as wrong, and people feel like it's right for them. Why? Because they're happy, and
okay.
they
So
and they
what
can
would
care and
happen
they
the
can
next
care
person
less about
leave the
your
other
opinion,
person
my
alone?
opinion, what's wrong or right.
That's how I look at it, and I think a lot of people should look at it is if I no longer serve a purpose to you in whatever form you may need me for, then as a bird, do not clip my wings, but let me fly. Because it is
I totally agree. I totally agree. If a person, I always give a person the option, but you can still give people the what happened to the people you give option, they still don't want to leave. Is that person wrong?
so would the person who was cheated on, would they be wrong for leaving? If they when or if they found out, right? Let's say they found out that you did. And let's say it was one time, right? But you still did it. So let's put that there. The male or the female that did the cheating, they still did it. Doesn't matter how many times it was, because one time is too many for a lot of people, especially today with all that's going on, all the things in the world. One time is one too many. And so are they wrong to say, well, to me, that was too much. I don't feel that I need to try to reconcile. I'm looking at it as irreconcilable. I'm out. And I hope
I
that you
mean,
be
if
happy,
that
right?
if that person, if they leave, no, it's their choice. It's their choice. I mean, I'm just trying to get you to look at it from the point, like I
No,
said,
I'm understanding your point. I'm just
yeah,
saying, but
everybody
even
do different,
still,
and I want you mean to.
if we feel that that's the way, like whoever, male or female, the best thing you can do is just say, right now, I'm going to be selfish. I'm not going to make a decision, but I'm going to be selfish. Acknowledge that part, not justify, just acknowledge it. There's nothing to really justify because, again, no one in this world, it doesn't, people put time into people. That's time you can't get back. It doesn't matter if it's 5 months, 5 years, 50 years, right? The time a person puts into another individual, that's time you cannot get back. So the best thing to do is say is this: if you can't, let me make it easier because I don't want to have to sleep with that on my conscience and deem myself as not being selfish, because the guilt's going to fall in somewhere or another. It's going to fall in. It might not be for the first 6 months after you did something, but eventually, if you're the type of person to do so, um, it's going to. But I think we're in a time now where it's like, fuck you, and this is how I feel, so this is why I'm doing it. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting lost in that. It's like you don't have to stay where you don't feel welcome. Go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. And that's the same with relationships and marriages. If it's not to a point where you feel like every day you wake up, this is what I want, or this is what I see myself being in. Like, look ahead sometimes. It's okay to do that. Look ahead. Do I see them there with me 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 10 years? If not, and if you feel great about the thought process ahead, look, it's going to, somebody is always going to have their feelings hurt, but it's better to have your feelings hurt and respect the person that told you the truth than to have your feelings hurt unbeknownst to you, or have somebody just blatantly lie to you and pretend like everything's okay. Because some people, their awareness isn't up to par. So they might not feel like they're not lacking in these places, right? They might feel they are doing that. And especially if you don't say anything, that's why communication is key in
Yeah,
every
and see that,
relationship.
and I feel like, and you're right, but I feel like that's selfish alone, because just because a person say something and you still don't, because some you could tell a person and they still don't feel that they're lacking. Okay, so my point
Yeah.
is that that's selfish for them to sit up and ignore that other person's feelings about what they feel like they're not doing. If a person telling you that, then that means take heed and either level up or you move to the side.
Yeah. Give a person a chance to fix where they're lacking. I
No,
say
no,
that.
no, no. I just said to give a chance. If you tell a person where they lacking, and they don't want to acknowledge that, they want to be in denial, then what can you really say?
You nothing. Just say you tried. It didn't work.
Okay,
And I
so
think
that's what
it's
I'm saying.
better
It's
to
situations,
set you
but
free
it's
because
selfish
maybe
for
that
that person.
other person.
But it's still selfish for that person that hears that, for as hear these things that they're telling them, that significant others tell them about them, telling them they're lacking, and that person to ignore and not try to level up.
That
That
is,
is
yes,
selfish,
that is wrong. That
very.
is wrong.
And
And
so
I
that's what I'm
think,
saying. Like, we got to be able to look at it from each
yes,
spectrum.
and getting to that point of that, and I would say this: if you've talked about it, you sat down, you literally had the hard conversation again, and time, you give them time to do it because you can't expect it tomorrow to be a difference, right? But if they're showing improvement or showing they're trying, then that's different. But if they're not, then you sit down and have that complicated conversation, but only this time there's an open door, there's an exit. Look, I feel
Right.
like no one else can add to your happiness that I can't do, and vice versa. It's gonna hurt, but our wounds will heal. I wish you the best, you wish me the best, and go on about it. But unfortunately, again, like I said, we're in a time where it's all about me, 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 and it's never a we. And until we get to that point, you're gonna find people justifying stuff like this. And I think
Right.
it's simple. Sometimes you just gotta rip the band-aid off hard and just let it bleed out. Because if you're trying to easily peel it out, it's gonna take more time out of you,
I done
the
seen
other person, and your life.
right, but I done seen situations, and you're right. But people do that, and then they move on, and that person come back and do something to them. Like, it's just is
Yes,
that
but
what?
we
Where's the
have
wrong
those
or right in that?
instances.
You can properly walk away from a person and do everything right, and then turn around and end up dying because that person didn't want to let you go. So what? Where's the wrong or right in that? You did
There
right, but then
is
you
some
still died
wrong.
the wrong
If
damn
they
way.
try to
So
hold
the,
you back and kill you
I'm
because of
just
it,
saying,
yeah, they
it,
need to go to
every
jail, a psych ward.
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, law wise. But what I'm saying is that let's do things the right way from the beginning, and
Yeah,
and that's the discussion. That's a whole nother topic, because a
it
lot of
is.
these relationships are based upon the wrong
Socialized
things being
together.
done from the beginning. It wasn't done properly right from the beginning. It shouldn't be extra relationships. It was all built on marriage, period. And people don't want to live with that. So you go from relationship to relationship to relationship, taking on this thing, this spirit, that, come on, man. You ain't gonna be no good for nobody with that in you. So, yeah, I mean, I agree. Again, it takes a whole lot of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to know about these things. And you know, uh, I don't feel like it's logic to hurt anyone intentionally, but sometimes we can't control the outcome of what we feel is right for us.
So the best thing would be take accountability for the actions that you make. So with that being said, y'all, we thank you so much for listening. Let us know in the comments. If a man cheats, is it the other woman's fault? And vice versa. Let us know down in the comments. Again, our email is thelindsaypodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or a topic that you would like for us to talk about, let us know. And until next time, we will see you later. Take care and be safe.